best ISO.
Rack it up, I got a bit of the bank to make me a safe house. Shake it up, she got her hands on her knees and she bringing the cake out. Smoke it up, I got some gas, some packs, I'm up in the greenhouse. Ball it up, I'm with the gang, we taking shots off the rebound.
Good afternoon, this is Mark Abouzeid, walking out of lockdown. I'm a filmmaker, journalist, and cultural specialist. Today I'm talking to Dorin Vasilescu, photographer, filmmaker, and a good friend. Dorin, hi.
Hi, Mark.
D, let's go back to New Year's Day. You know, what were your expectations for the coming year? What was your personal and professional resolutions for the new year?
Well, I usually don't make plans so long, even if it's just for the year. But things were going great. And I had some projects around the world, you know, and I was getting excited. I was looking forward to this year, actually. And yeah, you know, March came. And
yeah, and let's go there because obviously lockdown came, but I remember a day I was on Instagram and I saw your posting of, I'm supposed to be leaving for the Maldives today. Tell me about that. Yeah.
Actually, the Maldives plan was pretty easy. Just going there for a month, you know, filming around the islands, and ending up with some nice videos and nice pictures. We planned everything in detail. You know, we had also some support from the local authorities. But when everything started in Italy, as you know, first was in China, the rumors and the news about the pandemic now, what was then just a virus. We start following the news, you know, the restrictions. And at some point, I think at the 1st or 2nd of March, the restriction towards Italy or living from Italy and other countries have started to put some restriction from coming from Italy. My flight was from Rome to Moscow, from Moscow to Male. It was a safe route at that point, you know. But yes, I've decided to isolate myself, you know, and I've done that since March 5th. Although in Italy the official lockdown started on March 9th. Mm-hmm. Just in case, you know, hoping that everything will be okay, all this will finish in a few weeks and I will be just fine. I didn't enter in contact with anyone else. You know, I try to keep everything on the safe side. At some point, I am Romanian born, so at some point, Romania was a safe place. I thought going in Romania, staying there for 2 weeks, you know, respecting all the rules from Italy and leave from there. I said, maybe not, because this is going a little bit too fast up, the situation. So I said, okay, we will see. And we kept looking the news, checking the restriction, everything until, if I'm not wrong, on 24th of March or something, or maybe earlier, when Maldives closed their country, at least from the one coming from Italy. My client was coming from Argentina. So it was, a situation that he already changed his flights in the beginning of March because of that. And, you know, at that point, at the end of March, we said, that's it. Nothing to do.
Yeah. And, you know, you've been in lockdown now for basically 2 months, more or less.
Oh, yes. Officially, there are like 54 days or something. So since March 9th.
Yeah. And I know you have a young daughter, Efia, who's wonderful. and your wife. So
Thank
the
you.
three of you, talk to me about lockdown. Was that, with not a small child, because Effie is what, 8?
She's 7, but
7, yeah. Yeah.
probably she's the bravest from all of us. She never complained for anything until a few days ago when she wanted a swing.
Mhm.
But it was just after 2 months, it was reasonable. Let's say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's say for us at least, or for me, it was not too hard doing that, staying in lockdown, because we like each other, and also we don't interact too much with other people in our free time. We try to stay as much as we can together. So it was a good opportunity. And yes, during the day we also had to have our smile on our face, for her, and try to act as normal as we could, because although we explained to her everything that is happening and what will come next, at least from what we thought will come next, and she understood, we try to avoid talking too much with her about that, in the way telling her what is happening wrong, or what about people that are dying or things like that. We just told her as an information, but we didn't try to insist too much on that. We just let her asking question if she had any. Yeah. After she went to sleep, like everyone else probably, we start thinking of what will happen next. We, from our lives will be, our personal lives, from what our business life will be, and our
Well, let's talk about that. Yeah, let's go there now. We're looking at walking out of lockdown. What are the things? I mean, your wife is a writer. You obviously have a studio. There's a lot of I know a big part of your business is
international.
It's international, 99% but people have to be there. Your business is fashion. Your business is things where there's a set, or there's a, now you're doing different things now, and we'll get to that in a minute. But coming from when you walked into lockdown to now walking out of lockdown, what are you seeing, both professionally and personally, as the issues you're going to face, or what you hope to do?
No, even before, not all my clients are here when they hire me, because most of them are connected in a way with Florence or with Italy, and they are producing their stuff here. So they will just hire me, we are talking over phone, emails, Skype. But it's hard to say, because everything right now, as I'm seeing it, depends for now on what is happening in Italy. And as you probably know, and Italy, it's a little bit, the lockdown in Italy was a little bit different than other countries. We were here like in complete lockdown. That means we're allowed to go outside only for groceries, or if an emergency problems.
Yeah.
Not for anything else. No. Yes, there were certain situations that people could go out, like if they were working in the food industry, or but other than that, yeah, I was allowed to go out as a photographer, because I'm not a photojournalist per se. But as the denomination of photographer in Italy, it's everything included. Also the photojournalist, I was allowed to go out. I didn't do it in the beginning because, as I said, first of all, I try to protect myself and my business, talking about business, to protect the project that it was coming in few weeks, few days because of that once. The second, I thought is the normal way and the right thing to do during this what became pandemic, because you know, it's something that you don't see, you don't feel it until it's not too late. And the life around us is the nature around us is going normal, and nothing seems to happen bad, you know. But it's there, and we've
Yeah,
seen
and I
it.
must admit, I'm not jealous of anybody living in a city during the pandemic, and yet the work you've been shooting has made me very jealous as a photographer, because and I lived in Florence for years, as you know, to see Florence in these situations completely empty, which even at 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, you never find in Florence, is stunning to me. It's amazing. But what was the emotional impact, or what was the psychological feeling? Because yeah, on the one hand, it's beautiful, but on the other hand, it must have had an impact also.
So I thought about, you know, as a photographer and shooting around the city, you know, and probably, you know, all the Florentines are saying, "Oh, I wish this city to be empty just to have it for myself," you know. And I also in December I had a client from China. He was asking me for images of Florence without anyone on the streets, like just the buildings, the landmarks, you know. It was an impossible job, as you can imagine. You know, I explained to him, I told him that, listen, I will do my best. I know some moments when, and from some angles, that I can have as less people as I can.
Seems like that, yeah. What we've all done for years in Florence. It's like if
exactly.
you move over here.
Exactly. If you go to the right moments early in the morning, but going in the center early in the morning, you not have the best light. So, you know, I've done the job, you know, because the best as I could, and the client was happy with it. But you know, having Florence empty when we know that millions of tourists are coming during the year here, it's you know,
it's mind-boggling.
It's a bad joke, you know.
Yeah,
maybe. And yeah, I thought since the beginning of going out, but I decided not to. I decided not to for, I told you, my reasons. And also, as we are in this together, I said, okay, it's better. Let's just stay in the house and whatever, you know. Yeah, and after everything was canceled, like my agenda free for the entire year, you know, a lot of booking canceled, a lot of you know, refunds and things like that. So you start worrying, and you my entire business is based on the relations with my clients. It's based on international clients, and although I'm living here in Florence, I have just, you can count them on one hand, my local clients. Because when I move here in Florence, and when I start here, you know, the market was already full.
Yeah.
So I had to find my niche.
Yeah. And I must admit, and I commend you, because I did know you early on, or at least we met early on, and I was already a photojournalist there. And I loved your skill, but part of me thought, we have too many photographers, you know? But I have watched you grow that and grow your segment, and actually been quite impressed by it. Like you say, using what you have, which is Florence,
exactly,
which everybody else wants.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Although I am doing commercial work, you know, Florence is Florence, and anyone in this world knows Florence. Or if you show a picture with the Florence backdrop, they will know it's Florence. Or Italians, or Tuscany, or Renaissance. You know, there are lots of things that can be useful for a commercial client
Yeah.
here. So yeah, I try to do that. It was a long walk, a slow one, but in the beginning, in the end, I managed to do it, and it was
No, and
okay.
you've definitely carved a niche for yourself. All right, getting back to lockdown
Yeah,
for a second.
getting back there.
Let me ask
I
you a
thought
question now. Let me just
yes.
interrupt just because we got to keep this reasonably short. But let me ask you, all right, you have been outside, obviously. You do the shopping. You've taken some photos. But let's say today's lockdown's over. You're about to walk out the door. You can go anywhere you want, do anything you want. What's the first thing you want?
To go to the seaside. As of today, it's May 4th. Although in Florence started on May 1st, you are allowed to go out now, just for walkings or just with the bike. But you have to start from home, coming back from home, and to not stop anywhere. Just walk or bike, and that's it. This is probably the most thing that happened in the best thing that happened in the past 2 months from the people that were staying inside the house. As I was telling you, at some point on April 10, I decided to go out because it was the day when I moved in Florence 10 years ago. So I just, and in the beginning, in my first years in Florence, I used to walk during the night when no one was around, So I know it was something that said, okay, you have to do it.
Oh, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I used to go to the jazz club to shoot blues every Tuesday night, and I would walk home at 3:00 in the morning with this heavy backpack full of equipment, but I always walked home because there's just a magic at that time of night about it.
Exactly. So, I decided to go out. I had the support of a local newspaper because although I'm a photographer and I could work during this time, you also have to have a contract with someone that is giving you the rights to go there.
Yeah.
So I was pretty lucky. A lot of policemen stopped me. I just friendly talked with them, explained them what I'm doing. They were okay. Only once happened that they checked my papers and called responsible and everything else. But for the rest, it was okay. Going back of one of your questions, it was beautiful in Florence during these days. It was definitely strange. I have mixed feelings about it. It's something that, although I wish everyone can see it, I would say it's better not. It's strange. It's strange, and as I said before, it's strange because you don't see any danger around you.
Yeah.
And comparing with probably past 5-6 years, this year we had springtime, like a
real
proper
spring.
one. Yeah. Exactly. So, seeing everything turning into green, the flowers around Florence, it's amazing and it's strange. And probably you understand what I'm saying because it's hard to explain, but
well, let's talk about Florence going forward and your thoughts. I mean, Florence is the aperitivo culture. We live from spring to fall, literally every evening, cafe, outside walking, meeting friends, baci. What do you think the impact of extended social distancing is going to have on that?
I'm not a aperitivo guy. I don't go too often for aperitivo, but instead I enjoy my coffees at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
So probably you can say that in Italy the coffee at the bar is a thing, you know.
I know.
So I'm very curious about that, actually. I'm very curious how people will react. I've just seen it in the first day of March when people were trying to keep a certain distance and not to go too many inside the bar. But it was just probably for fun then. Now it's for real. It's for real, and I don't know how. No one knows actually. I have some friends that are the owners of bars and around the city, and they don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know because you can do it in the Italian style. Just go in, you take your shot of espresso, go out.
Yeah.
But we all know that moment in the morning, afternoon, lunch, dinner, doesn't matter. Going to the bar, having the coffee there is just a social thing to do. So you go to interact, to have to change the words with your friends, with your barista, which knows anyone's life in the neighborhood. But it's hard to say. It's hard to say because an entire culture has to change. Because Italy, it's all around family, all around staying together, all around being social and not just talking, going close one to each other. They like to hug them.
Yeah.
They like to kiss one to each other. So it's hard, and it's hard to say what will happen. Although I've seen signs that they are conscious and they are trying to respect the rules and keeping that distance. As everywhere there are some exceptions. But since Friday, when in Florence started to be allowed to go out for walking, I've seen some videos and some pictures from around the city that are not so encouraging.
Oh yeah.
But I try to stay positive and think just it was a release after all those 54 days of staying in the house and people probably needed. Which also...
Yeah, okay, you can understand how your positiveness might be confused by the T-shirt that says, "That's all, folks." I'm joking.
I hope he's right, but me, I'm more concerned about what will happen in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
Because if until now, okay, we understood what's the problem, we understood that we have to stay inside, the entire industry and tourism was closed, in our way we understood, more or less. And we did it. The problem now is that we want to start walking again. We want to put everything to open our businesses, to live our lives normally. And from my point of view, it's a little bit too soon.
Yeah.
It's a little bit too soon because we are just right there where the numbers, and we're talking about numbers, although our people lives involved are still high and are still there. We're just there.
Yeah.
And after all this lockdown, and I'm trying not to be pessimistic, if the second wave will come, I really don't know if we can put everyone else back in the house or shut everything down again. And that will be a disaster.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm hoping with this small freedom that we have now, I'm hoping that everyone will respect that and will do their best to keep it like that and not to forget why they stay in the house for so many days, because the short memory and when bad things happens, we usually try to forget very fast. This is not the time. This is my point of view. It's not the time to forget what happened, and we're still in the middle of it.
A lot of people tried different things in lockdown. A lot of people were crazy. What's the most fun or the most different thing you did in lockdown? What did you do that you would never usually do?
Well, as you know, we are not posting too many things online about us, about our daughter and things like that. Because of you, with because of you with your lockdown smile hashtag, we posted some things. Yeah, we try to, as I said, we try to keep it as normal as we could, and we always enjoy our time together, and we try to do creative things. Yes, we used to visit our friends that are artists, with our daughter, so she can be inspired, or at least to see the artistic world that we are in. And we had to compensate that, so we just start doing things inside the house. We are lucky that she has big imaginations and she's asking a lot of things. We are lucky that we know to do some things and we can improvise if we can't. And yeah, we've done a lot of dancing, drawings, building airplanes from what we had in the house. It was nice.
I watched yours, and I watched it regularly, and it made me smile every time, because it just felt like you were allowing us to look inside without performing for us. This is just
the only, let's say, social media post that was a little bit directed, let's say, it was the video that we've done for the hashtag for you, when you asked okay, let's do something dancing.
That's great. Is there anything else you want to add before we sign off?
No. As I said, I'm hoping that everyone will not have a short memory.
Rack it up, I got a bit of the bank to make me a safe house. Shake it up, she got her hands on her knees and she bringing the cake out. Smoke it up, I got some gas, some packs, I'm up in the greenhouse. Ball it up, I'm with the gang, we taking shots off the rebound.